Actually, I don't drink beer. I do research and development when I'm out and about, and then I do quality control here at the shop. But other than that, I really don't ever drink beer. So, no, yeah. I'm Crawford Moran with 5 Seasons West Side and 5 Seasons North. I'm the brewmaster here, and so 5 Seasons started about 10 years ago. My partner Chef Dave started 5 Seasons and opened the original location in Sandy Springs, and then I partnered up with him about 4 or 5 years ago to open up, expand the concept. So we opened up Alpharetta, got that open about 4 years ago, and then we opened 5 West Side here about a year and a half ago, although it took 3+ years to get it open. So it was a long project, long birthing project. So we finally got that done. Dave was a buddy way back in the old days, and we had a mutual friend that got me home brewing. And so that was back in 1990, I think, and fell in love with brewing, and just from the immediate get-go, and had always been entrepreneurial, and just the passion for beer and brewing joined up with the entrepreneurial drive and opened up a brewery. So when I was putting the business plan together for that and going out and talking about it, you know, there was no breweries in Atlanta or even in Georgia at the time. You know, matter of fact, the reason I got into it really was as a beer lover. Was that, you know, I'd traveled all around Europe and everywhere, drank the beers over there, traveled around the U.S. and was always drinking local breweries, and you know, go on a road trip and just, you know, connect the dots from brew pub to brew pub. And there was nothing like that in Atlanta, and so having been born and raised in Atlanta, I just kept asking, hey, how come we don't have not only a local brewery, but if you went into the store, you know, we had both kinds of beer, Bud and Miller, and that was about it. So, you know, just asked one too many questions, as I always say, and ended up with a gargantuan do-it-yourself project. Started a brewery. And brewing is a little bit different from being with 5 Seasons because, you know, Chef Dave is he's one of the top chefs around. You know, whether you want to define it as the city, the state, the region, or wherever, but he's phenomenal. And so getting to brew beer and pair with the food coming out of here, and everybody on staff, Chef Phil, Tyler, Thomas up at Alpharetta, we got a great crew, but getting to brew beer to fit with a seasonal based menu is fantastic. You know, every day our kitchen does a completely new menu. So we do 20 or 30, and when I say we, I mean everybody else besides me. You know, we do a completely new menu every day, so you get a brew beer for that. I mean, so you know, our food is seasonally based. That's why it's called 5 Seasons. Whatever comes in fresh from the farmers. You know, we buy most of our produce when we can from small local farmers. So they kind of show up. Here's what we got, or here's what's hidden this week. And so that's what shows up on the special menus. So kind of incorporate that in the philosophy of brewing here, which was different than, say, when I brewed at Dogwood. And so we do a watermelon beer, you know, and we brew it, you know, when watermelons are in season, we get local organic watermelons, and we put that in the beer. We do pumpkin beer, but we use local organic pumpkins. So, you know, we don't come out with pumpkin beers in August. You know, pumpkins are just now landing in the next couple weeks, so the next 2 weeks we'll throw the pumpkins in. And so we try to feature that in some of the beers we do. We did a peach beer, watermelon beer, stuff like that. I think everybody has their own style, really. You know, the way I approach beer is I love tradition, but not for tradition's sake. There's used traditional methods that you know, work wonders, and use that to create new and exciting beers. So we do a lot of traditional beers around here. You know, this is traditional American Pale Ale. We do traditional Irish stouts, German lagers, Czech lagers, Czech pilsners, lots of those. But then we do a lot of traditional Belgian style beers, and then we also do crazy new stuff constantly. You know, I think since I've been at 5 Seasons, it's been 4 years, I've probably done 200-300 different types of beer, and you know, I'd say half of them are just, you know, new twist or something completely different. So we do a lot of barrel aging. We do a lot of casks, which are both traditional, and sometimes we do something crazy in the cask too. So one of the great things about doing what we do is getting to know the farmers. I mean, you know, that's just a treat. There's a lot of great people, as you can imagine. You know, it's not a cliche. I mean, it is a cliche for a reason, but so that you get to meet and you get to know them directly. And you know, as Chef Dave always likes to point out, you know, farmers love beer, we love farmers, and so there's a great symbiosis right there to start with. So, yeah, we've been able to get good pumpkin, especially, you know, when you call them and say, oh yeah, by the way, we need 600 pounds of watermelons. What, you know, they're, what? And so you tell them you're making a beer, and then they get all excited. Or pumpkins, you know, and they, you know, they'll bring you the good stuff too, which is nice. Our local farmers, stuff that they bring us every day is just amazing. You know, the selection that you get, the quality that they're bringing, and just the freshness. I mean, you know, when the food shows up at our back door and it's still got dirt on it, you know, that just makes you smile. And it's also really cool to watch the farmers come in the door. I mean, it's been the best thing about being here at Five Seasons is watching the farmers come in, and they're, you know, just all excited about what they've got. And then our guys get it, and they're getting all jazzed about it. And then it's on the menu, you know, and they're showing up in the morning, it's on the lunch menu. Or they're showing up in the afternoon, it's on the dinner menu. I mean, that's just, it's great to be a part of. And I get to eat it, so it's even better because I don't have to cook it either.